Okay, we're on. Now I will focus in onto the laptop, today's presentation. Okay, Dr. Fung.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Dr. Kenneth Fung, and I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you the Christian holistic health, hospice and palliative model of care that I have developed, and I hope it could be helpful to you. Today, in the 20th century or 21st century, you may question why we struggle in our national health and social care services in spite of major clinical advances in medicine, technology, science, drugs, human behavior, etc. And yet, today we have epidemic proportions of some of our most common illnesses, such as depression, such as chronic anxiety, such as addiction, suicide, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, obesity, divorce, social problems, and even pornography. Do you ever wonder why all these things are happening and exist? Also, the practice of unethical medical and social procedures at the start of life, such as abortions, and at the end of life, such as euthanasia, assisted suicide. Why do we kill? Why do we have to kill people? Unending social problems of homelessness, poverty, and the soaring health and social costs that we experience today. Are we missing or overlooking something in healthcare? For me, I believe the answer is yes. And I believe one of the missing factors is what I call the hidden stress in our lives. Yes, we accept stress as part of life, and it's even considered normal to experience stress of some degree. However, when stress becomes chronic, it can become pathological, especially if it is hidden. We don't recognize it. And I would like to suggest spiritual stress is a hidden stress that we do not recognize. And I believe it's the deepest hidden pathological stress that we have in our present day life. What is spiritual stress? It is the human stress response to loss of your authentic identity, your authentic spiritual identity. Who are you? I would like to suggest we are beloved children of God, loved unconditionally for who you are. Yes, loved unconditionally for who you are. You have nothing to prove. You are just called to be and to live your life to the fullest. And free to become the person you were created to be, with your unique gift and talent. Yes, each of us have a unique gift and talent. I consider it a God-given gift. And to live your life to the fullest, guided by the Spirit of God. Not just guided by the things of this world, but guided by that higher power, the Spirit of God. And spiritual stress, if it persists, can lead to chronic spiritual, physical, psychosocial, stress-induced illnesses. I would like to define spiritual stress as a chronic anxiety and fear generated within your whole physical, psychosocial, spiritual being when one experiences rejection, betrayal, and abandonment of love, especially by the ones closest to you, such as family, parents, siblings, spouse. I believe today a lot of the problems that we have today really starts from the family problems, the family breakdown. And another area of rejection, betrayal, and abandonment of love comes from yourself, your own self, through your thoughts, what you think, through your words, what you say, through your deeds and your actions. You could be, as is often said in the expression, you could be your worst enemy without realizing it. Stress impacts your health, we know that, physically, intellectually, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, relationally, and in your coping ability. Stress affects you in all those dimensions of life. How one copes with rejection, betrayal, and abandonment of love is determined by one's choices, one's decisions, and one's actions. Yes, your free will. That is one factor, your free will. And this is influenced, your free will is influenced by your beliefs, what you believe. If you believe, say, in a God or a higher power, as we might say. Influenced by your knowledge, the knowledge that you have acquired in life, through education, through everything. Through television sets, through music, yes. And also your own personal experiences. We have had personal experiences that have been good, and we have had personal experiences that have been very bad, tragic. And all these influences affects how you think and how you act, and will determine the outcome of your physical, psychosocial, spiritual health. So you can see when you are overwhelmed or when you experience setbacks, what guides you, to help you to know how to cope with these problems and to keep on the straight and narrow path, as opposed to allowing your emotions or your experiences to dictate to you what you're going to do and how you react. I believe this is very important. And knowing who you are, I've come to realize, is vitally important. I would like to suggest in our daily life experiences, we do not recognize nor deal with the traumas of rejection, betrayal, and abandonment of love effectively. Most times we suppress it and it becomes our secret. As you know, we all have secrets in our lives. And the secrets are the ones that we may feel ashamed of or feel embarrassed about, such as like that. But those secrets, I believe, poisons our system, our intellect, our emotions, our minds. And the wound of rejection, betrayal, and abandonment of love, if it prevails and it dwells in our spirit, your human spirit, it creates anger, it creates guilt, it creates fear, and all these things together create stress, spiritual stress. And it penetrates and impacts your whole human being, your whole human self, and can lead to physical, psychosocial, spiritual, clinical stress-related symptoms. Today, with science and healthcare, we tend to address these symptoms and care for them from a purely scientific point of view. And although science is very important, you have to remember that the person that we are treating is not just a sickness, it's a spiritual human being that has feelings, that has emotions, that responds to love, that brings inner peace, inner joy, inner love. And so when we care for people and we overlook that part of you, the stress that comes from that not knowing who you are and not affirming you as a spiritual human being, I believe it could be one of the reasons why we have a lot of chronic illnesses today. Yes, we know bacteria causes infection, and yes, we know that diet could be a cause too, and all these lack of exercise, all of these things. But what keeps your machine going, and what keeps it at peace, and what keeps it at a level to cope with all these other problems is love. And when that love is not there, the stress that comes from that could trigger a lot of these illnesses that we suffer with today. Today, as it's that time of the year, as we come closer to Christmas, Christmas was celebrated first as the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ. It was a solemn time. It was a time of love. It was a time of family. It was a time of getting together and to celebrate. Unfortunately, Christmas today has now been called, what? Holiday? Is it holiday time? or what we call it, Black Friday time, what we call it. All it becomes so materialistic. We just think of what we're going to eat and buy presents. And I often wonder, why do we buy presents? Why do we have to give presents at Christmas time? To make the merchants, businesses more financially better? Or it's a way of showing our love and affection for family, for friends, for each other. That is what Christmas was all about. And it was rooted in love. Rooted in love. I would like to talk today about what we call losses. When you lose, when there's losses in your life, the losses could come from someone very close to you, someone you love who has died. The losses can come from loss of a job, a loss of your career that you so depended on and loved. Your loss can come from broken relationships. Your losses can come as opposed to losses of material wealth, which is a loss also, or loss of a job, which provides your income, and loss of your health, poor health, like chronic depression, chronic stress, and all the other ailments that we have. All these losses makes us sad, makes us become dependent on something else. It causes us to grieve. And grieving and sadness is a normal experience, a normal response to when you lose something that is very dear to you. Like a broken relationship, like loss of a loved one, your wife, your spouse, your children. All these losses create a lot of pain. And it affects your whole being, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, socially. And we accept that grieving process as normal, as a human being, when we sustain these losses. But we know that there's a point in time when we overcome the grief and the sadness and to pick ourselves up again and get on with our lives. However, sometimes we struggle with this grief and we go for years without overcoming this grief. And this can lead to physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and social problems or sickness. So how does one overcome the grief from a severe loss? Do we just go to a bar and drink and celebrate? Or we just go on a holiday and try to forget it all? Or we just change locations, we move to another city? Or change our house where we live, buy new clothes? I guess people have tried all these different ways. But the truth is, it never works until we address the deep root of the loss and how it has affected us. And this is especially so, as I said, at this time of the year, Christmas time, when it's really a family time, when we get together. And we don't want to spoil the fun or spoil the celebrations by being depressed. So we avoid things, we keep to ourselves, we withdraw. And hoping that maybe with medication we'll get better, hoping that with time it will pass away, and hoping that a different location would make a difference. But when it leads to sickness and causes you to get depressed, or causes you unable to work, or causes you to withdraw yourself from life, to the point of not wanting to live anymore, cannot find meaning to your life, you need help. You need help. And I believe there are lots of ways to get help. But for me, looking at you as a spiritual, physical, psychosocial human being, I discovered, first of all, you need to tell your story. You need to tell your story by finding someone who can listen to you, someone who can accept you for who you are and listen to your story, not interrupt, not give advice, but just listen. Do you know such a person? Because that person could be of some help to you. Another way is you cannot change the past. And as you have experienced, dwelling on the past just makes you more sad, more depressed. And as we know, we cannot change the past. But for me, as a Christian, I believe Jesus can heal the wounds of the past. He cannot change the past either. But I believe through prayer, through seeking His mercy and His love and forgiveness, it can heal the wounds of the past. Do you know someone who believes in prayer? And someone, if you ask, will pray with you to receive and experience God's mercy and love, and help you the grace to forgive whatever was the cause of that problem, regardless of who was right or wrong, but just to move on in your life. We don't have to seek revenge, we don't have to get justice, we just have to find peace and love to help you so that your physical, psychosocial parts of you, your organs, your mind, your hormones, everything will come back to normal. Your heart rate will come back to normal. The muscle strength would relax and come back to normal. Your mind would be more at peace so you can sleep and focus on what you have to do. Yes, you can learn to love again. you can learn to become a better person than what you were, a stronger person, a person who has experienced God's healing and merciful love and helps you to become more the person you were created to be with your own unique gifts and talents. It sets you free. It sets you free to accept your reality and to make the right decisions. It enables you to change something in your life. None of us have a perfect life, and this is how we grow, by change. Changing the things in life that hinder us from becoming the person you were created to be. Sometimes, in spite of all of this, you might need professional help, and that is okay too, by seeking a therapist or a doctor, a counselor, even a priest, a social worker, whatever it might be, a spiritual director. And it's okay to get help. And to start a new chapter in your life, and to know from this it's another step up. So you don't just remain the same person, but you grow through this experience to become more the person God created you to be, and to use your gifts and talents. So at the end of this, when you experience God's love, you can say, like the words of this song that I always remember this woman sharing. She played an accordion and sang this song. I cannot sing the song, but I will tell you the words. I am loved, I am loved. I can risk loving you. For the one who knows me best loves me the most. I am loved. Learning to love yourself for who you are is the secret. And that comes through thanks be to Jesus Christ crucified, who showed us the way. He gave his love for all of us. And we believe him to be the Son of our God, the Father, and Jesus is the Son, and he gives us the wisdom through his Holy Spirit. I hope this little sharing could be useful, and I hope it will enable you to enjoy a very happy and blessed Christmas. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, that's it.
Well, that's the end of the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm just going to do little ones like this on different topics each time.
Okay.